It is known that the 5 books of Moshe, the Chumash, has only 2 songs. And by songs I mean that when the Torah is written, it's usually written in regular columns of text. All the scrolls of Torah, all the kosher Sifrei Torah are written in just regular columns. And there's only 2 places in the entire Chumash where instead of the regular columns you have different layout of text. There are other places, of course, that also seem to be songs or some kind of poems. For example, there is a Shirah that the Jewish people sang at the Be'er, near the water. This is in the book of Bamidbar. In fact, in the book of Bamidbar, there are a lot of different songs or poems about Sihon, the king of Heshbon. The entire Parsha of Bilam, his prophecies may be considered a type of song or poetry. Of course, the blessings of Yaakov before dying to his children and the blessings of Moshe in the last Parsha, Zot HaBracha, all of these are definitely poetry. The style is poetic, but with all that, they're not considered songs, meaning they're written exactly like regular text. There's nothing that distinguishes them when you look at the Torah text. There's nothing that stands out about all these other places. There are only 2 places in the entire Chumash which are written as a song. Of course, in the rest of Tanakh, in the rest of the Nevi'im and Ketuvim, there are other songs. But I'm talking right now about the 5 books of Moshe. There are only 2 songs. The song that we read in this week's Parsha, Parshat Beshalach, and the song in the pre-last Parsha called Haazinu. So I wanted to say a couple of words about these songs, and in particular the song of Shir Shel Yam that we read every day. It's very interesting that the morning prayers include this entire song. And it's not exactly clear when this minhag came about, but it's definitely that it spread slowly. You have to understand that what we call Psuki de Zimra, the part of our prayers that are before the Shema with its blessings, those Psuki de Zimra developed obviously over time. The truth is that the morning prayers are divided into various parts that correspond to spiritual worlds. In some Sidurim, in fact, it's actually written which world is this particular prayer corresponding to. So the first part of the tefillah of our prayers has to do with physical things. There are morning blessings and temple service that we, certain parshot from temple service that we recite. And then the second part is called Psuki de Zimra. This is on the level of dibur. If the previous part is on the level of maaseh, action, the second part is on the level of talking, the words. And that's why it's mostly praises. More than half of it is various psalms. In fact, the main part of Psuki de Zimra is already mentioned in the Talmud as the 6 psalms according to Rambam's interpretation. According to Rashi, it's only some of those psalms. It's basically the last psalms of the book of Tehillim, of the book of Psalms, from 145th till the last one, 150th. So it's Tehillah li David, 145th psalm, that the Talmud mentions in a number of places that we say it 3 times a day, and plus the rest of the remaining 5 psalms. So the Psuki de Zimra slowly developed into a much larger part of davening that can take 10, 15, 20 minutes depending on how fast you daven. So instead of just being 6 psalms, we now have all kinds of other additions, and the last part before the brocha, before Yishtabach, is the song of the sea. It's already mentioned in the Zohar to say it, but what's interesting is Hizkuni, one of the commentators to the Torah, says that it's hinted in this week's Parsha that we should say it every day. In a certain sense, he thinks that it's already hinted in the Torah itself, that one day the Jews will be saying it every day, because it says, Lemor, Vayomru Lemor, they said speaking, meaning it's a double language, it's a kind of extra word, Lemor, meaning we should always repeat it, we should always know the song and repeat it to ourselves. So maybe that's the kind of reasoning that was behind the institution of reading the song every day. But what's interesting is that Rambam, who lived about, 800 years ago, he actually brings that there are some places where they read Haazinu instead of it. And that's the second song, of course. So some places read Shir Shel Yam, some people read Haazinu. So in his time it wasn't an obvious custom that everybody should read Shir Shel Yam every day. By the way, some Sephardim say Haazinu on the 9th of Av. Haazinu, of course, is a very different type of song than Shir Shel Yam. Shir Shel Yam is a happy song when the Jews just were saved from tremendous danger. They were all about to be killed or enslaved again, and then they were saved. On the other hand, Haazinu is a dut. It's a kind of testimony against us. It's a song that warns us what will happen if we don't listen to Hashem. It's very interesting that Haazinu itself, it says that the Torah says before the Parshat Haazinu, and afterwards the reasons for the song, that it's a testimony and that we should be taught, the Jewish people should be taught this song, that they should know it. So it would make sense actually if we repeated this every day. This is much better, a warning, right? Like Kohelet says, better to go to the house of mourning than to the house of happiness, the house of simcha, right? Where people are just on a happy occasion, somebody just married. Because in the times of mourning, people actually think and review their actions, and when they're in a house of mourning, maybe they'll do tshuva. So one might wonder if, in fact, the original minhag in some places to read Haazinu every day was a better minhag, especially since the Torah specifically says that we should know this song really well and be taught. But at any rate, our custom is to read Shir Shel Yam every day, and in particular, in some congregations, on the Shabbat, when this Parsha is read, meaning this Shabbat, they'll be reading it in a kind of special manner. Not everybody just saying it by themselves, but the Chazan and then everybody repeating. I guess Chazan is in the place of Moshe, so he would be saying a verse and everybody would repeat that verse. So it's a more solemn way of reading the song on the Shabbat in some congregations. By the way, there is another Shabbat on which some congregations read it that way, and that is the 7th day of Pesach. It's not necessarily Shabbat, but the day when the 7th day of Pesach, whatever day of the week it falls on, that day is, of course, the anniversary of our redemption at the sea. It's the 7th day of Pesach when these events happened. So that's why in some congregations they read in Psukei de Zimra in the same way, as if it's happening before us. Notice how this biblical poetic language is used in the Torah, where a lot of times it's the future or continuous action in a sense that's used for the past, as if it's happening in front of our eyes. All of these events, Tehomot Yichas Yumu, the sea covered them. By the way, there's an interesting idea based on the fact that it's Yichas Yumu, not Mo. One would expect a different vowel there. So there's an explanation, interestingly, that it has to do with onomatopoeia, meaning that it sounds like something going deep. You know, for instance, Germans used to call a submarine U-boat. Woo! It's a kind of sound that's going down. Yichas Yumu. So the words of the song are very poetic and very beautiful and very hard to translate, actually, or even to understand. But they may even have a connotation of their own sound, even kind of makes you experience these events. Imagine the situation when, let's say, Buchenwald was just redeemed by the Americans, and then Americans pull back, and the Germans, the SS, coming back to Buchenwald. How would the Jews feel at that moment? So that's how the Jews felt when they were stuck and saw the Egyptians approaching. They were in complete panic. And then all of a sudden, they were saved. Imagine the happiness. They were all saved. So this is all I want to say today with regards to the song Shir Shel Yam. And may Hashem continue making miracles for us, whether it's open miracles that we experienced once or hidden miracles that we experience every day, as we say, we thank Hashem for the miracles He does for us every single day. And if you like this video, please press like and please subscribe to our channel.